Sneaking itself onto the PS5 in the budget end of its gaming library is Party Bingo. Now I picked this up for just over £3 and it is a 1 to 4 player local multiplayer bingo game. And I haven't played a bingo game since Muppets Party Cruise on PlayStation 2, which had a really cool bingo minigame in it. Odd flex, but I love that minigame and that's what essentially made me buy this. So, Party Bingo comes with 4 different modes. It's got its classic bingo, which is where a number pops up on the screen and then you can quickly go and stamp it on your bingo card. And the first to make bingo, which means 5 horizontal, vertical or diagonal numbers stamped, wins. Now the problem with that is that occasionally you can get winners at the same time. And so it feels a little bit too luck based. And that's why Party Bingo adds another 3 different modes on top. And ultimately I spent most of my time in those 3 other modes. The first one is Buzzer Bingo, which is whoever's fastest on the buzzer wins that number. And then it locks basically everyone else out of that number. And the beauty of this is that it's not just smashing a button and being fastest finger first. You are also penalised for buzzing on wrong answers as well, and that locks you out of the next turn. So you're damned if you go a little bit too trigger happy, because then you'll be locked out if the next number comes up and you could have got it, and that locks you out of bingo. The next puzzle or variant of it is more of a puzzle themed one called Slide Bingo. And with this one you don't stamp numbers directly. Instead you start off with 5 red stamped numbers and all you do is you choose in turns to move your bingo card, a row of it, horizontally or vertically up 1 square in one direction, or left or right or down 1 square in one direction. And what you're trying to do is line up your red squares so that it hits bingo. And once everyone's had a turn, you'll randomly get something new stamped on. So then you've got 6 red marks to try and line up for a 5 bingo, then 7, then 8. And what you're doing is, because what you push pushes everyone else's bingos too, you're trying to get yourself into a successful situation whilst stopping other people from doing the same. But as the board gets more tricky and more hairy and more clustered with red marks, you moving into success is invariably going to move someone else into it too. So you're really having to think quite quickly about, okay, where do I go? What do I do? And this was the real tactical one. And I really enjoyed this mode alongside the buzzer mode. They were my 2 favourites. And I spent the most of the time in these 2 modes. The 4th mode is called Poker Bingo. And the idea behind this is that every time you pick up a number, you have to drop a number too. And so that commits you to going for certain bingo lines really quickly and early in the middle of a game, and you might have gone for the wrong ones because those numbers will never come up for you, and so you'll be stuck there going come on, and that enables you to be able to sometimes steal other people's numbers if they can't place it on their board. And so yeah, I found this game to be a little bit more chaotic and a little bit less clear about what you could and couldn't steal, because sometimes I felt like I could steal numbers and other times I couldn't, even though the rules kind of explained to me that I should be able to, and you can only steal 3 numbers per game, but it just felt a little bit woolly and inconsistent for me. So for me it was all about Slide Bingo and Buzzer Bingo, with the other 2 not too far behind. Yeah, it just does exactly what it says on the tin. The AIs fill up any slots that you haven't filled up with players, and they play very well. There's no particular difficulty modes for them, which I think might be a slight drawback for some perhaps, but I very much enjoyed my time with Party Bingo. It's a good palate cleanser in between much more meatier multiplayer games, and yeah, just sets a nice granny-ish tone when you need it to in a multiplayer gaming sesh. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/Higher Plane Network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.